guys, welcome back to Rutter Renovations. Does your gate look like this? If it does, it probably wasn't built correctly. Let's go ahead and build a double gate that won't sag. Here we go.
If you have an existing gate, remove the old framing and you'll be ready to measure for your new gate.
So you'll take your tape measure and you're going to measure the distance between the two posts. And this is 161.5 inches. And so we're going to make our gates 80.5 inches each.
For the gate frame, we will be connecting the pieces together with half-lap joints. You can easily use your table saw or a circular saw and chisel to create these joints. Set your fence depth to the width of the wood you'll be using. For us, that'll be 3.5 inches, and the blade height to half the thickness of the board, which will be 3/4 of an inch for us. You'll make a series of cuts using your fence as your guide for the full width of the intersecting board, hammer out the material while wearing safety glasses, and then use your table saw or chisel to clean up the rest of the joint. As you can see, the table saw does a great job at creating a smooth surface for the joint, and this is what it's going to look like. Each 2x4 will be joined together with the half-lap joint we created, which will produce a 90-degree angle at each joint that can be glued and screwed together.
Once you have the frame pieces for your gate cut out and you have your half-lap joints done, it'll go together just like a puzzle, and if you cut them correctly, they should be at a 90-degree angle and everything should be straight. And so we'll go ahead and glue these and then screw these together, and then we'll put a cross piece in the middle. All right, as I glue each one of these joints together, I'm going to pre-drill 5 holes so I don't split this wood whenever I go put the screws through. And then I'm gonna put glue in between there and then screw them together to make one solid joint. To glue the frame together, I'm gonna use Titebond 3 Ultimate wood glue.
If you don't want your working surface to get glue on it, you can lay something underneath the frame, but this is our garage and the floor is already a mess, so I'm not really worried about it. After applying the glue, I used 1.5 inch exterior screws to screw each joint together, making sure they were snug so that the joints get pulled together, but not over tightening the screws so that I avoid splitting the wood. When you cut the cross member for your gate, you can lay it underneath the frame, making sure to have overlap on both members of the joint, leaving a majority of the overlap on the side of the frame for the bottom side and the top member of the frame for the top side. Then you can trace your lines and cut them with a circular saw. Your cross member must start on the bottom for the hinge side of the frame and extend upwards to the outside top corner of the frame. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple holes, pocket holes in these cross members to screw into the frame. Remember, we want the frame to be one solid piece, so make sure you glue every joint, which includes the cross members where they come in contact with the rest of the frame.
Now that we have the frames of our gate built, we're going to let this dry overnight and then we'll hang them tomorrow. All right, so you can see my hinge is right here, and I want this gate to be as high up as possible, and I don't want to go stick a lag bolt directly through this joint that I just made. And so I'm going to lower this hinge down, and I'm going to raise the bottom hinge up to where they're not affecting these joints, and they're going to be in this member of the gate right here. I have these set up on a few bricks just to kind of keep them in position where I want them. As I pre-drill the holes for the lag bolts, they're going to go in with the hinges.
To reduce the risk of your posts and frames splitting over time, make sure to pre-drill your holes where the lag bolts will be installed. When you're installing the hinges, I recommend starting with the center lag bolt on either hinge, then check to make sure the gate is level before continuing with the remaining bolts. The post closer to the house was leaning in this instance, which meant I had to kick my hinge out on the bottom to compensate in order to make my gate level.
All right, now we're gonna put the fence pickets on our frame. I put a string up here to make sure that my fence pickets are gonna be in a straight line across. And I put all of the weight of the pickets on the end of my frame. That way, if there is any play or any movement, all of the weight's gonna be showing that movement now. So when I put on the fence pickets, it's gonna maintain and stay in that straight line that I want it to be in whenever all of it is assembled.
You'll want to start your pickets from the center of the gate, so any skinny pickets you might have to rip due to spacing will be on the other end of the frame.
All right, so we're gonna be putting on our latch system before I finish putting on the pickets on this side. This is the kind of latch we're gonna use. There's a rod that will go here that will go on the front side of this gate. And I put this first picket over a little bit so we'll have more privacy in between where the two gates meet up. And in order to make this lay flat, I'm gonna have to cut a little bit of this board out so that the bracket can lay flat against it and it won't scrape or rub the other fence.
Now that we have that portion of the latch on, we can install the rest of our pickets.
All right, now that that fits good, let's go ahead and put the rest of the bolts in. That'll allow you to rest this in here whenever you're working, and you can lock it back in place when you're done. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you liked it, like it. And if you're watching this on a medium that you can subscribe, please feel free to subscribe. We'll see you next time. Peace and God bless.